This is the Secret of Castronegro 2025. For the last 8 years, every holiday weekend or Halloween weekend, I have run the Secret of Castronegro using Cthulhu Dark. I always invite different players for this every year, and this is the group we have today. Let's meet everyone. When I call on you, please say your name, your pronouns, and anything else you would like for folks to know about you. I will start though. My name is Jason. Any pronouns are fine. I am the founder of the Gauntlet gaming community and a publisher of games like Brindlewood Bay and Public Access and The Between, or creator and publisher of those games. And yeah, I really love this module. My co-host Tom and I covered this on our podcast, Fear of a Black Dragon, back in 2016. And I have been running it basically every year since. I really love it. It is just it just I don't know, it does everything that I want. I love it so much that like a lot of the setting details I've incorporated into my games. And so if you have Nephews in Peril, one of the mysteries, the one that takes place in Devilwood's like right next door to Castronegro. Like a lot of the characters, kind of interact, or there's like some similarities between them. But also we have in Court of Wolves, the upcoming The Between setting for Sons of Another World, which, by the way, PK on the call did the art for. In Court of Wolves, one of the mysteries is about the Sisters of Castronegro, and so we get to learn a little bit more about the deep lore of Castronegro in that way. So I really love it. It's very like special to me, and I love running it. And it's just it's like a warm, fuzzy Halloween blanket for me. So I'm very excited. Let's go around the table. Name, pronouns, anything else you want people to know, Brian?
All right. I'm Brian Sago, he or they for pronouns. I'm the author of Butter Princess and Pick Me. I've illustrated With Sailing of Klaus Manor and some illustrations for Trophy Dark. That's about it, generally speaking.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I am just an avid player of all things role play, and she, they, or any other pronouns are fine by me.
Fantastic, Ben.
I'm Ben. I use he, him pronouns. I play a lot of RPGs and I also build character keepers and do really twisted stuff with Google Sheets. So,
Did not build this travesty we're using for today for Cthulhu Dark. No, actually, I don't even know who built it. I think it was me, but I'm not 100% sure. Finally, PK.
Hi, my name is PK Asher, pronouns they, he. I have done illustrations for Court of Wolves. I'm a freelance watercolor artist and professional miniature painter. I love the card from Brindlewood universe, trophy, role playing, and absolutely Lovecraftian lore. So excited to be here.
Fantastic, thank you. Let's do CATS. CATS is an acronym that stands for Concept, Aim, Tone, and Subject Matter. I like to do CATS to establish some basic expectations for what we're going to be doing today, as well as the next two sessions this weekend. So, the concept, Cthulhu Dark is a short, very short form, light Lovecraftian investigation game by Graham Walmsley. It was a big inspiration for Trophy Dark, actually. It's a game that really embraces the kind of like pure Lovecraftian horror experience. These characters don't do combat checks and things like that. Like they look around and sometimes they get freaked out and they run and then they go crazy, right? That's kind of the whole deal with Cthulhu Dark. Very fun rules light system. The Secret of Castronegro is I would say it's a classic Call of Cthulhu module, but no one knows about it, so I'm not sure how classic it is. It's old. It's been around for a long time. It can be found in the long out of print Cthulhu Companion, though I think they do still sell it on drive-thru as a PDF. And it is an unusual Call of Cthulhu module in that it takes place in New Mexico, as opposed to the typical like kind of Massachusetts or New England settings of that game. Let's see what else. Tone. So the tone of this is it's very like kind of investigation and mystery and horror. It kind of starts in a sort of like kind of weird off kilter, even camp kind of like way, at least the way I run it. But it pretty quickly ramps up to be like horrifying and scary. So just know that. Which leads to subject matter. This module has quite a lot of disgusting graphic violence and subject matter in it. Um, there's a lot of it's just a lot of nastiness, especially the way I run it. It gets really nasty. We will have safety tools on the table, so we will be using roaming lines and veils. What that means is if it looks like we're about to approach some subject matter that someone's not into, you can line it or veil it at that time. A line is a thing we're not going to have in the story at all. A veil is something that we are going to, we're okay with being in the story, but we prefer not to role play it. We'll also have the X card and the open door policy as well. You all know how these things work in this context, and so I'm not going to go into that. I think that's about it. Oh, one other subject matter note. Lots of like ritual violence. So it's ritual horror, ritual violence is a big, big part of this. Any questions about cats? That was pretty quick, but I think we all got it. Fantastic. And so, with that said, we are going to begin the process of character creation. Now, I have to tell you that there are some very small requirements I have for your characters. Generally speaking, this takes place in the 1920s. Now, there's no specific year called out, but just the 1920s. And so be thinking of it in terms of technology and the sorts of jobs that there were. The 1920s is our frame for that. Your characters can kind of be have any kind of occupation you want that makes sense, except I have 4 requirements that one of you must each slot into. Okay. Those 4 requirements are: one of you is not from New Mexico, you are from Boston. And that's one thing, the person from Boston. The second person is the person connected to the University of New Mexico. They're either an academic or they are a student or something. The third person is a local, not to Castronegro, but to nearby Silver City. Okay. And then the fourth person is, it doesn't matter where they're from, but their key thing is they are interested in the occult or the paranormal. So before we start making characters, if you would all at this time decide which of those 4 things you want to be: the person from Boston, the person connected to the university, the local, or the occult researcher.
I have half a baked heiress idea, but she is both local or could be connected to the University of New Mexico, either through grants or donations or what have you. So those would be the 2 I
I think
would slot.
the local might make sense because I know what it
Hmm.
means, and so an heiress
Hmm.
makes sense to me.
Okay.
PK, you said in the chat that you want Boston. Is everybody cool with PK having Boston? Okay, fantastic. And so Brian, that just leaves the university or what was the other thing? Or the occult.
Paranormal
Yeah.
occultist, yeah. Ben, I think you've played this before. Do you have a preference? Because I'm flexible.
I think I was from Boston before, so it's also been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm misty on it. So
Do you have a preference between University of New Mexico or occultist paranormal?
I kind of the occult. Maybe
All
go
right,
for a spiritualism angle.
then I'll be University of New Mexico.
All right, fantastic. So we're going to make characters. Character creation is really simple. You are going to come up with a name. If you want to make some notes about what you look like, that's great too. And then your occupation, and character creation is done at that point. So we're going to pause to give you all a few minutes to make your characters. You still don't know what you're all doing in Castronegro yet, and that's fine. So don't worry about that part of it yet. But if there's anything else you want to discuss as a group, please do. I do recommend that you all have different occupations, that you don't double up on that. Okay, let's go around the table and introduce these characters. I don't need to know much yet, just their name, kind of what they look like, what their deal is, and then what their occupation is. I'm going to go in the order of the sheet, and so PK, tell us about your character, please.
My character is Harold Marsh. They are an investigative reporter from Boston. Just out here in New Mexico, maybe on assignment, maybe just taking a break from the East Coast.
Fantastic, thank you. And Sarah.
My name is Millie Rogers. I am a Standard Oil heiress. Just here, I'm the local. Um, yeah, that's all there is.
Fantastic, thank you. Ben,
I will be playing Duncan Britton. He, him. He is a traveling medium and spiritualist.
fantastic, thank you. And Brian.
I am Lloyd George Francis, a geologist at the University of New Mexico, and I am slowly getting sort of a side hustle working for the petroleum industry, kind of like in a version of academic graft here.
Fantastic. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to take about 30 minutes. It's a break, but not really, because I'm going to be chatting with each of you individually on Discord. During those individual Discord chats, I'm going to ask you a question or two, tell you what you're doing, and then I'm going to have you roll some dice. And then, depending on the results of your die roll, that's going to determine how much you've learned up to this point. Essentially, your characters all kind of start in the town of Silver City, and you've been investigating your individual cases that you're working on already. And then at some point, you all take a bus to Castronegro. And so on Discord, we're gonna kind of summarize your investigation in Silver City with a die roll. And so be on the lookout on Discord for a DM from me, and I will we'll just say we'll meet back up at 1:30, okay? You each came to Silver City for different reasons. You were each investigating something personal to you. And you discovered helpful information. And now you all find yourselves on a bus going down the road, a long stretch of desert road, the 2-hour journey from Silver City to the tiny town of Castronegro. You don't know each other. You're all sitting in different parts of the bus. And the only other person on the bus is the driver, who introduced himself as Ochoa. You don't know each other, but you're free to chat as you wish. You can talk about anything you wish. You haven't seen much so far. A lot of sand, a lot of brush and cactus, and almost no other vehicles.
I have a quick question about,
yeah.
oh, sorry, Ben. I was going to ask what month we are in.
We're in early October, no specific date. And it's early in the morning on a Tuesday. You're set to arrive in Castronegro around noon, I guess. Going around the table, everyone just please describe what you look like, what we see you doing as you sit on this kind of unremarkable, boring little bus ride. Whoever wants to go first.
Um, you see a woman with bright blonde hair, obviously chemically treated in curls, and some simple but very fashionable clothes. Bag sitting next to her looks as if it has seen a couple of days travel, but is huge. Like full Mary Poppins could put your arm in there and disappear, but is currently occasionally looking out at the road, then her eyes glance back down at the book she's reading. Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton.
Duncan Britton is a fairly well-appointed man, probably in his late 30s, early 40s. He has kind of an academic air about him, even though that's not his pursuit, and he has a little mustache that he probably shouldn't be attempting, and pretty thick framed round glasses. Oh, and he is
Uh,
reading just from a notebook, from what you can tell.
uh, Harry is mid-30s, um, entirely too dapper and overdressed for being on a bus in New Mexico. Tie, shirt, fedora, and light linen jacket. And he seems really preoccupied with a letter in his lap. He keeps reading it over and over again, and then will eventually tuck it back into his jacket pocket and stare out the window.
Uh, Lloyd's got kind of like unfolded on his lap a map. It's not a road map so much. It's like a geology sort of topology map. Kind of consulting that, but also oddly sort of pinned against the same map and the same handhold is a black and white photograph of a rather well-dressed uh, man, and he kind of is glancing from photograph to geological survey, photograph to geological survey. Um, his clothing is it was probably nice once. Now it's just the color of dirt. Um, you can tell this is a guy who's walked a lot, and he kind of sighs and tucks the photograph back into his inner pocket, and then folds up the map.
It's a bit quiet as everyone's reading and looking at their various materials. Ochoa, who is kind of a heavyset man, who he keeps like as he's driving, he keeps like kind of grabbing a little jar of flavored salt and dipping his finger into it and licking it off. And he gives a little shiver every time, like eating the salt keeps him awake, which I guess is good. Why he would need that in the morning is unclear, but there we are. And he keeps looking in the rearview mirror at you all, and eventually he breaks the silence. Well, I tell you what, most weeks we don't have anybody on this line, but now today I've got four of you. That's really something.
Yeah, the roads don't get any shorter, do they?
Ah, it's a job, right? Better than digging ditches, that's what I say.
Does that hit Lloyd at all, considering his geology?
Yeah, I guess Lloyd would say, well, it depends on where you're digging that ditch. Like limestone, that is rough work. Here, some hard gravel on the top, but you get down a little bit and the digging gets easier, doesn't it?
He says, don't take this the wrong way, fella, but you don't look like you're much of a ditch digger by the way you're dressed. None of you do. None of you really look like you have any reason to be going to Castronegro. Is there something going on that I don't know about?
I think Millie will glance up at the ongoing conversation and flip a page of her book, and you see her kind of fingering a dried bit of flour as a bookmark as she closes it. I'm just looking for someone special. I think I heard that he might be out this way. There's no reason that I expect any of these other gentlemen to be heading in that direction.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Well, I hope you all find what you're looking for. And he kind of just
Aren't you sweet? Aren't
nervously
you sweet?
laughs and keeps going. Yeah. The scene is yours.
Uh, Harold will move up to sit closer to Millie and go, "Are you looking for someone special there, doll? Plenty here on the bus."
You are almost as forward as the Prince of Wales, sir. Millie, a pleasure.
Harold Marsh. Pleasure is all mine, I assure you.
No, I'm looking for a particular someone, not you in particular.
If you change your mind.
I couldn't help but overhear that you're looking for someone in particular. Perhaps I can help with that. My name's
I
Duncan.
just, Duncan, as I mentioned to Harold, I'm looking for a particular someone. It's very flattering,
Oh,
but
no, that's exactly what I mean. I can help you find that particular someone. I'm somewhat of a hunter of lost things.
how curious. And how does one make, well, forgive me. I know it's terribly rude, but how on earth do you make any money doing such things?
You would be surprised what people would pay to hear from those that they've lost.
Yes, well, and I think Millie gets a otherworldly spookiness. Like, no, I don't think I'm gonna engage with the the man I'm looking for is still on this side of the veil, but if I need anything, just I'll let you know.
Well, I wouldn't want to presume that he was anything but alive and kicking, but those who aren't so much anymore do have a way of knowing things beyond the normal mortal ken.
I don't think it's a supernatural mystery. My man is from Castanegro. I think he just left the hotel abruptly. I expect to find him there. I have no reason to seek your services.
Of course.
Ochoa looks up into the mirror again and says, Ma'am, did I hear you correctly that you said your friend is from Castronegro?
Well, I don't necessarily know how I feel about your eavesdropping, but yes, I do believe that's what I said.
Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I did overhear what you said, and well, that's just a funny thing because you don't usually meet people who are, from Castronegro in places that are not Castronegro.
I meet a great deal of people all over the world, and it is no business of yours that I just happen to know somebody from a smaller town. There's nothing odd about it.
Oh, no, 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 nothing odd at all. You can keep whatever company you like, ma'am. It's no business of mine. But I just think it's kind of funny because, well, people from Castronegro don't really, they don't often leave Castronegro, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Is
Well,
it
there
a
is an exception
financial
to every
limitation?
rule.
Sorry.
Say that again, Duncan.
Is that a financial limitation? Is the area particularly impoverished?
Oh, impoverished is what's going on in Castronegro would be an insult to the word impoverished, let me tell you. No, I think it's just they're real family oriented out in Castronegro, and they like to stick together. The journey continues. You've got about another hour or so. I'll let you keep having the scene as you all wish, or you can just otherwise tell me how you pass the time.
I think anybody else might consider her very self-absorbed, but she does think the world wants to marry her. So seeing all these strange men on a bus, she's just going to fall back into her book.
Gazing out the window, I say, that is a fine batholith over there, pointing at some rocky bit. I kind of look at it like, oh, an igneous intrusion. It's a magmic plutonic form of never mind, sorry.
A rock, Ochoa
It's
says.
yeah, it's a rock. It's a yeah, yep, that's a better word for it.
You seem awfully invested in rocks and dirt, sir. What brings you out this way?
Well, all of the land is just rock, isn't it? When you get right down to it, like we walk and tread upon millennia of archived knowledge, and that's kind of what I investigate. I'm Lloyd. I'm a geologist at the University of New Mexico. Uh, uh, so yeah, this is kind of my realm here, the land.
Duncan will happily shake your hand and say, "So you are looking for samples, or
Yeah, samples, things that are lost. That's mainly it. Castronego's it's got a lot of different igneous formations that are worth investigating, and another colleague of mine has done some preliminary investigation, and I'm trying to follow up on that.
fascinating stuff?"
Well, Duncan, what brings you out here to Castronegro? You're a seer of things. Surely you could have stayed in Silver City and found what you were looking for from there.
I suppose you could say I was called out here.
By a spirit?
If you would like, yes. I spirit is it limits the capacity. It is such a limiting term for these beings that hold so much more than mere echoes of who they were in life.
You said beings. Do you know what they look like?
In some cases, they can look like us, but I believe once you cross the veil, your options are perhaps broader.
I have reason to believe that there may be something in Castronegro that you could have knowledge of. Something perhaps with claws.
Claws. Fascinating. I'd love to hear more.
Hmm.
You're
I'd love
just
to know more.
the bus is just pulling into Castronegro now, a little ahead of schedule. It's around quarter till noon, and there's not much to it. If you want to go to the map on the Google Drawings link, I will give you the breakdown here. It's essentially just a kind of cross section of a few streets. As you sort of are kind of arriving, you'll notice a real consistent thing about all of the buildings is they're mostly all old Adobe style buildings, similar to the ones in my background image. Except for a couple. There's one on the sort of northwest corner, which appears to be, well, it's unclear what it is. It's a kind of unmarked building, but it is made of wood. And then there is a quite grand church in the downtown square that is made of stone, but all the rest of it's adobe. And Ochoa is pointing some things out as you drive by. He points out all the things that you see on the map here that are labeled. He points out you come up 13th Avenue, and he kind of he points out the tobacco shop if you're looking to get a smoke. There's a library if you want to check out a book while you're here. He points out the church, of course, and then on the other side of the street, he says there's not much down here, but there is a kind of a strange little shop that, based off some of the conversation I have definitely not been overhearing, you might find interesting, called the Tomb. And then he kind of points out to that wooden building and says, I probably shouldn't say what that is, but let's just say it's a private establishment for people who would like to imbibe things that may be against the law. But you didn't hear that from me. And then he stops the truck, or the bus rather, right in front of the hotel, there on Diaz Avenue. This is where I drop everybody off, the few people who come up here. It's the only place to get a room for the night. The Herrera Hotel. Juan Herrera, he's an okay fella. I'll be back tomorrow morning around this time. If you miss the bus, you're going to have to wait a whole week. I only come on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And he gets out. He helps you with any bags you might have brought, points you to the hotel, and reminds you again, he'll be back tomorrow. So whatever you're doing here, you got one day and night to figure it out. So,
I think as Millie accepts her bags,
mm.
she will slip two whole dollars into his hand and say,
Oh,
"Tomorrow morning, I do hope that you'll wait for me in particular."
I won't go anywhere until until you are sat in in your chariot, madam.
Thank you so much. It was a very pleasant journey.
And he happily takes your tip. He kind of hangs around a little bit, see if anybody else is going to tip him. Let's go around the table. I'm curious what everyone does at this point. You have your bags. The only place to stay the night is the hotel, so you can go ahead and go get a room there if you'd like. You can take your bags with you and go look around and then check in later. It's up to you. But let's just go around the table. Lloyd,
You said it's just before noon, right?
yeah. By the time you get
Mm,
unloaded and stuff, it is noon. Yeah.
okay. Um, I don't think you mentioned any place to like eat. Is there a restaurantish thing, or is the hotel the only place to
Ochoa will
find?
inform you that they sometimes have food at the Hotel Herrera.
All right. Uh, I think that's my aim then is to sort of like in a way before checking in, just look for a place to sit and have
Yeah,
a bite to eat and get the lay of the land.
sounds good. Harold?
Harold will also check in and grab some food.
Duncan.
Going to check in, drop off my bags at least, and then might try and sidle up to Harold and see what
Oh,
he might learn.
what he was talking about earlier, yeah. Millie?
I think I want to be the last to check in because
Mm.
I have some pointed questions for the hotel staff.
Oh, very good. You're all sort of generally making your way to the hotel then. And I think when you step inside, you'll see that the place has been kind of like decorated, to sort of like try to take advantage of the beautiful southwestern, culture. There's lots of like, kind of Native American handicrafts and serapes and things like that on the walls and little clay donkey planters and things like that. Quite a lot of turquoise things. Let's paint the scene, everyone. Um, Looking around the quite empty lobby, how can you tell the Herrera Hotel does not get many visitors?
Of the keys hung on the wall on pegs behind the desk, only the first two look as if they've been pulled off. The rest are covered in a patina of dust.
The quite large guest check-in book is still on its third page.
Many of the chairs in the lobby have clearly not been sat in, and they are covered in dust, just neglected and left there.
I'm picturing sort of the 1920s version of a porter's dolly that just has a busted wheel, like it's sitting in the corner. It's never been used. The wheel got pinched for something else.
You're all kind of there, looking around. You glimpse the little used guest book and other things. And there's like a little like, kind of like a tall, like kind of reception, counter. And you hear something coming from the other side of the counter down below where you can't see it. What do you do?
Is somebody in distress? And it's going to try and peer around the counter.
Uh, you see a man on his hands and knees, quite surprised at there being someone in the lobby, and he is trying to like scrub something off one of the tile floors. He must have been quite strenuous. And he says, oh, sorry. Oh my goodness, are you here for a room? And he stands up.
I do believe four of them.
Oh he stands up. He's a tall man, blonde hair, blue eyes, very like tan skin, and he says, "Oh well, I would be happy to provide you all with accommodations this evening. This is yes, good." And he kind of takes out the book and he kind of opens a fresh page on the book. He's wearing like kind of a, like just a simple like kind of cotton button-down shirt and a little tie, a little bow tie, and he says, yes, whoever's first, just step right up and fill out your information here. It's $2 a night, and yes, that very good. Who's first?
I definitely defer to Millie Rogers among others. It's clear she economically outclasses at least me and Harold, if not Duncan.
Millie is looking at the art and saying, "Is this Comanche? I don't know how to pronounce it. Apache here.
Um,
Where's this from?"
uh, 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 if I remember correctly, it's from the Sears Roebuck catalog. Now, that's maybe we'll say Duncan's filling out the thing. Mr. Britton, very good. Wonderful. Are you okay with a room on the second floor, sir?
Oh, that sounds lovely. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Good. That's lovely. Yes, you please, to Mr. Marsh. You can all get kind of signed in.
I prefer a room on the ground floor, please.
Oh, well, there actually aren't any rooms on the ground floor. That was just a sort of polite question I asked earlier.
Ah,
Mr. Francis, Mr. Marsh, madam, will you be filling out your information here?
Yes, and in the book, in a lovely flowing script, she signs Mary Millicent Abigail Rogers.
I do hope you found the hotel's art collection to be fascinating, Miss Rogers.
I was hoping to find something a little more of the earth, but Sears and Roebuck is a way to go, I suppose.
Well, um, it's just that we don't get many. Uh, we don't, we don't get many vendors around here, in our little burg, out here in the middle of the desert.
Mail order everything, I understand.
Oh yes, yes.
Um, I just happened to notice the name of this street outside.
Oh, yes.
Could you help me pronounce it? Where the
This.
tomb was pointed out to us?
Oh, well, so the street right in front of the hotel, that is Diaz Avenue, and then
Hmm.
that is perpendicular to both Garcia Way and the Lela Pereira Street.
And is that a family name in town?
Oh,
It
yes,
sounds
yes,
so
yes.
familiar.
There are. The Castronegro is lousy with Diaz's and Lela Pereiras, let me tell you. A few Herreras, too, and Garcias, but there's never been as many of us as there have been of them. Would any of you be taking lunch? That's normally the sort of thing that people
I would
want, I think.
eagerly partake of a lunch. It seems like the sort of place where I don't even see a grocer's. Like, how does one fend for oneself here on?
Mr. Francis, how do you feel about delicious strips of flank steak sizzled on a griddle with bell pepper and onion? A delightful dish served with tortillas that we call fajitas.
Yes, the spicier the fajita, the better. Just bring it on. I love
Fantastic.
all the fruits of the earth.
I would love to figure out a way to have that made for you. Um, is that going to be four fajitas then for everybody?
No
That
fajitas for me, thank you. If it's not too late for coffee.
Oh yes, yes. I can certainly do that. Let's just get everyone settled, shall we? And he goes and kind of gets the various keys and he hands them to you, and he has to actually like remind himself like where approximately upstairs each room is. And he says, "Does anyone need help with their bags? I am, of course, delighted to help you with them."
Not I. And I kind of clutch my
Oh, good.
bag a little tighter to myself, as though somebody should not peer within.
Oh, yes.
I think I'm quite capable of taking care of my own, but thank you.
Good. So no one needs help with their bags. Wonderful. Right. Well, if you all want to come back in, say, an hour, lunch will be ready. If you'd like to perhaps have a little nap in your room, I think that would be wonderful. Here you are, Ms. Rogers. I've given you room 3. It has no windows for extra privacy.
I see. And you didn't take my bags, so I should go back down and collect them myself?
You do need me to bring your bags up, right?
It seemed odd you didn't assume.
Oh, all right then. Well, now we're all settled. I'll see you all very soon for lunch. Ah,
Thank you kindly, sir.
he quickly takes your bags up, Millie, and points you all out to your rooms. All your rooms are next to each other upstairs. What do you all do? You got an hour to kill.
Look at Duncan. I go, there's a church across the way. I have a reason to go there. Any interest?
Certainly, I'm very interested in the local color here.
Perhaps they have something more interesting and authentic than Sears Roebuck catalog.
We can hope.
Also, I think there's something terribly wrong with that chap that checked us in.
I suspect you're correct about that. Yes, those noises he was making.
I'm right here.
The
Apologies,
poor
sir.
man obviously does not have much service in him. He's trying. We can be gracious.
And once again, I'm right here.
I hand him $1 for his troubles. Apologies.
I might go across the way to the tobacconist.
Oh, very good. So we got popping over to the tobacconist. Sounds like Harold and Duncan are going to go over to the church.
Yeah, and for me, dropping off my bags, no one would be within sight to witness this, but tucking something within my own jacket so that it comes with me, heading towards the tomb.
Oh, very good. Being very coy, Mr. Francis. Or Professor Francis, I suppose. Dr. Francis.
Doctor, please.
Yes.
I've earned this.
My father was a professor.
Fantastic. Let's fast forward a little bit. It is interesting, actually, though, that there's only one room that has windows. He understated the case. The only room with windows is Harold's that look out onto Diaz Avenue. All the rest had windows at one time, but it looks like they've been boarded up. So they're very dark rooms with little tiny table lamps.
How far of a drop, like how high are the
It's
ceilings
just two
from this
floors.
room?
It's the other 2 floors. Yeah, the ceilings on the top floor are kind of high, but like they're pretty high ceilings. But it's only like maybe 15 feet to the ground.
Can I see out of my window any traces of footprints, or has that been blown away by desert wind?
You're probably too high up for that, but you can certainly just look out the window as a general matter.
Okay.
Go ahead and make I'm going to say a single die roll for now.
The roller is weird. There we go. 4.
Fantastic. Oh, there we are. You look out the window. You are a little too high up to kind of see what might be happening on the ground, but you have a great view of the church from your window. And in fact, I mentioned earlier that the church is made of stone, whereas most of the buildings are adobe. Very likely the church was built probably during the time of the missions, and this also probably explains why it was built with such nicer materials, right? Because the church paid for it. But an odd thing about this church is that there is a bell tower, but the bell tower is separate from the main chapel. And indeed, you can see that the bell tower is made itself from a different material. It's made from a sort of like quite dark black stone, whereas the chapel's made from just a sort of regular kind of quartz or limestone. So let's kick off with Millie heading to the tobacconist. I need to pull up that section of the mystery. When you get there, indeed, you see on the sign, it says the Villela Pereira Tobacco Shop. Proprietor Philip Villela Pereira.
How fortuitous.
That's what you notice at a glance. What do you do?
I sweep into the shop as any other tourist would. I need tobacco to fill a very dainty pipe that I like to smoke in the evenings. I want to see what the local flavors are.
You see sitting behind the counter. Well, odd thing. One thing you'll notice as you walk in is there's a big like display for a window, but at a glance there's nothing in it. It's like they just like don't bother to put anything in the window display. Um, but as you sort of like get inside, you notice presumably Philip Villela Pereira, tall man behind the counter. Looks like he's in his 30s or so. Black hair, very striking green eyes. They actually kind of almost stand out in the kind of faded light in the room. They're so vividly green. And he sees you and he's a little surprised. You can reckon pretty easily they don't get much business around here. He says, hello, can I help you?
Hello. I'm just in town for the day and I could use a little tobacco. What do I have to choose from? It's such a tiny town. I don't have high hopes, but could you show me some of your wares? She'll
He
lean an elbow on the counter.
he goes through and he'll point out various, pre-rolled cigarettes, or if you want loose leaf, he can sell you the papers as well. And he's kind of just sort of, I don't know, like his heart doesn't really seem in it, but he's nevertheless giving you the tour. What are you doing in the meantime? Presumably, you're there for more than just tobacco.
Well, I thought that I might comment how striking his eyes are and how I
Mm.
knew a gentleman once with something similar countenance.
Make the make a die roll with. It seems like you're kind of turning on the charm. You can use two dice.
Marvelous. Oh, die roller is not working for me as a moment. Just to refresh here. There we are. I rolled a 6 and a 2.
Indeed, you did. We'll come back to this. Duncan, Harold, um, you're kind of crossing the street together, I guess we'll say, going inside the churchyard. And as you get closer, you'll have confirmed, Harold, that yes, the tower is made of a very different substance. I would even give you some extra detail. It has a it has an oily quality to it. It has a faint kind of iridescent shimmer in the afternoon sun. And then of course just beyond the tower is the there's a little cemetery, and then there is the chapel itself. What do you both do?
Harry wants to enter the chapel and inquire about the location of Alonso Vieja Pereira.
Hmm.
Duncan will stick by Harold
Hmm.
for the time being.
You can step inside the chapel. Find that real quick. Stained glass windows. Looks all for all the world like a old Spanish Roman Catholic church. I will tell you though, as you step inside, you get a feeling that I would describe as unwholesome. Now, Duncan, you have an interest in the spiritual world. Is that something that you would intuit?
I think if there is any kind of natural explanation for what that might be, like the angles are off a little bit, or maybe there's just enough of a slope of the church that you feel a little unbalanced, he'll note that, but he's absolutely going to kind of do a dramatic little shiver and say, "Ooh, feels restless in here."
We certainly don't like the vibes.
Let's paint the scene. This small chapel has, maybe a half dozen rows of pews, a little kind of altar area. Um, there is a sort of like Jesus on a cross, kind of statue hanging. Looking around, though, what makes us think that all the good Catholics of Castronegro go somewhere else for Mass?
There
There,
is, oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
There's one or two Bibles in the front pews, but everything else is empty. There are no books or holy books stored in front of the pews.
The customary basin of holy water that you would find at the entrance is bracked or brackish. Just
The dust and sand that is blown in from outside, you can see that no one has sat in most of these pews in quite some time.
And that point where you can light a little votive in memory, it's just that there's like one stand that has melted wax, and the rest of it's just never been used.
I think at the rear, or the sort of rear, yeah, the rear of the church, there's maybe like a little hallway where there's probably some kind of small office for um, a deacon or the priest or whoever. And you can actually hear some like noise coming from there, like someone's working. Um, what do you both do?
Doesn't seem to be a very popular place. He's going to go for one of those Bibles in one of the pews, or the missals, and see if it's as expected.
Oh, interesting. Make a roll. I'm gonna say one die for now.
A3.
Fantastic. Harold, what do you do?
Harold approaches the sounds of the working that
Mm.
they hear towards the back of the church.
In fact, you can kind of hear someone whistling back there.
Is it a tune they recognize that I would recognize?
Yeah, I think it's probably like it's some well, it's some kind of Gershwin, some kind of standard, right?
Nice. I'll hum along to kind of announce my presence, to not startle whoever it is.
Oh, hello, hello. Uh, I- I'll be around just in a moment.
I'm
And
not going anywhere.
and indeed, in a moment, you are joined by an old priest, an elder priest. He is. Let's find a description of him. He has the normal, like, sort of like, kind of. I think they're probably. Mm, I'm not sure what order he would be in, but just sort of black priest vestments, white hair, green eyes, which stand in sharp contrast to his white hair. And he says, uh, uh, "Oh, hi. Um, did you come for confession or?"
No, I'm actually looking for Father Alonso. Is he here? Are
Oh,
you him?
I'm him. Yes.
Ah, uh, I believe that you were in contact with a person that I am looking for.
And who is this person?
His name is David.
Um,
David Lane.
you can tell he doesn't want to quite open up to you. What do you do to kind of get him to like to open up?
I'm rather intimate with the details of his family and the situation that he's in, and I certainly don't mean to cause any harm to David. I'm actually looking to try and stifle any of the troubles that David may be in for the sake of both him and the family.
Make a 2 die roll.
But
Fantastic. Let's check in with Lloyd. Got a 6, I got a 3, I got a 5. Lloyd, you're heading to the tomb, right?
Indeed.
The tomb is um it's an interesting thing to be in a town of this size. It has inside the window, there's a statue of a Balinese, temple guardian demon, and it's holding a sign that says "The Tomb, Proprietor Filippo Diaz." And indeed, the window is just chock full of like all kinds of, objects, fetishes, all kinds of like, sort of cultural artifacts. What do you do?
Well, walk in the door and hopefully make that delightful jingle jingle that one makes when one walks through the door of a place like this.
Indeed, the door jingles. You step inside, and you don't see anyone, just the counter. But then, quite suddenly, someone just rises up from behind it. A tall, lanky man with shoulder length black hair, pale skin, green eyes. And he says, "Hello."
Say hello. I'm both shocked and delighted to find a store such as this.
Yes,
Castronegro.
yes. Welcome. Welcome to the tomb.
Yeah,
Are you
you see,
here to get buried in an exceptional collection of rare occult artifacts?
I buried in knowledge is my part and parcel in life. This is wonderful. Uh,
Yes, it is quite wonderful, isn't it?
can you give me, like, roughly speaking, the collection of books versus the collection of other artifacts, sculptures to jewelry to magical
Oh,
daggers to whatever? Like, what am I seeing here?
I would say the ratio is roughly half and half. One likes to read and one likes to touch in
Oh, it's
equal
true.
measure.
All the senses. One wants. Yes, yes. Uh, do you have uh, any minerals of antiquity?
You turn briefly, and when you turn back, he's standing right over you. What era were you interested in, sir?
Oh, pre pre-human civilization.
Oh, well, we may have something like that here. Mm, why don't you look around while I look around, and we'll see together what we can come up with.
That sounds like a delightful way to spend the afternoon.
Oh, the whole afternoon, even.
Well, your store has so many items to gaze upon.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, people thought I wouldn't make it in a town like this, with a business like this. Happily, I do a fantastic mail order business.
So you're not from Castronegro?
Oh, yes, yes, I am. Well, but this is not about me, is it?
Well, it's about the history of the place, the location and Earth and space and time.
Hmm. And he bids you to look around.
And then I shall duly look.
Indeed. Go ahead and make a. I'll give you 2 dice on this because it's an academic pursuit.
All right. Oh no, a 3 and a 1.
So the 3 is what we're looking at. If you're going to find something really good, this is the place to do it. Do you want to add an insight die?
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
Okay. Roll uh roll 2 dice plus the insight die, so 2 light and 1 dark on the die roller.
Come on, roll, little roller, do it. Hang on, having technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. 6 dark, yes.
Your insight is 6, which means you're also going to have to make an insight roll. Go ahead and do that.
That's 1 dark, is that correct?
Yeah.
6 dark. Pour it on.
Your insight's going to go up. We'll talk about why all of this is happening in a moment. Let's take a 5-minute break and I'll come back and tell you what you all discover. Millie, you got a 6, correct?
I did, but I have not made an insight roll.
You may not. Whenever you get a 6 on a regular roll, there's just a possibility you might have to.
Understood. So I lean over the counter and I say, "Your eyes are so striking. They remind me of someone I met once, and I actually think he was from around here. Do you know Joaquin? Maybe a relation?"
He gets a little nervous about that. He clearly doesn't want to say right away. He says, yes, I have a nephew, Joaquin. Is that who you're talking about?
Must be. He's a little younger than you are.
Hmm.
Similar striking features, though, if I do say so myself.
He leans forward on the counter and stares into your eyes and says, when you say similar striking features, ma'am, what did you have in mind?
Your eyes look an awful lot like his.
A lot of people around here have green eyes. You know, people don't leave Castronegro much.
So people keep telling me, what is it that keeps you here? In this shop that has, do I dare say I'm the first customer this week?
Listen, Joaquin did a bad thing. He didn't want to fulfill his obligations to the family. He ran away. Now, I don't know what happened to him, but if you see him, let him know that we want him to come back real, real bad. And here's where you're getting even more information. He's kind of like slowly walking around the store at this point, saying this. His back is turned to you. As you're kind of following him around the store, at one point you go past a sort of like curtain partition that goes towards the rear of the shop. And he's kind of up ahead a little bit, and he can't hear what you hear, which is coming from the other side of the curtain and down, like near the floor, you hear. What do you do?
Do you have more stock back here? Whip open the curtains.
You see very briefly there is a trapdoor in the floor, and it's locked, but there's enough give that it's raised slightly, and you see a pair of green eyes staring out from underneath the trapdoor lid, and you hear them, and then they like quickly like drop and close it. And the uncle, Philip, he kind of steps in front of you and closes the curtain and says, "No, everything's out, ma'am. Now, like I said, I don't know where Joaquin is, but we can help each other out. I'll come find you if I see him, and you come find me if you do first. I want you to
Then I will
make
take.
I want you to go ahead and make the insight roll for seeing a person trapped in the
Yep.
in the cellar."
Cool. Why does this? Sorry, glitchy roller for me today. A 6.
Your insight goes up to 2. How does it make you feel? Like seeing that, how does it make you feel like you're kind of pushing a little bit closer to this is just a situation, a crazy situation, like this is bad.
I thought coming into this shop that I understood family obligations, and now I am starting to feel like these family obligations are quite different than my own.
Duncan Britton, you grab one of those Bibles and at a glance it seems to be just a Bible, but someone has tucked a note inside the Bible as if they were like passing a secret note to someone else. You don't know if the recipient ever found it, but presumably not, or they would have taken it. The note says, "William, I think you'll find what you're looking for in the bell tower." It's not signed. What do you do? Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. I'll just slip that in my pocket and then I think creep along, maybe see if under the pews if there's any uh, like what's it called, misery cord, any kind of inscriptions on the underside of the pews. Me being a tourist, pretty much, so he can hear what Harold's talking about.
Oh, okay. That's good. Well, let's get to that. The old priest, Alonso, says, or Father Alonso, he says quietly, "May I ask what your relation is to David?"
We are not familial relations. I was hired by the family to find him.
I see. Um, well, I I'd be happy to tell you everything I know, but and then he kind of looks over at Duncan awkwardly, looking around the bottom of the pews, and says, "Would you mind coming back to my office?"
But, well, of course. But
And
someplace private to talk. Understandable.
yeah, and Duncan, they go to the office. What do you do?
Uh, there's no access to the bell tower from in here.
No, but you can go outside, and there's a door that into the bell. Like it's like it's a freestanding structure.
Sounds like a good opportunity to do that.
Hmm. Back in the office, Harold. You're kind of sitting across from his little desk, and there's no indication that like he's like false in his faith. I mean, you see, Virgin Mary, Guadalupe, all that stuff, there. And he says, "So, how much do you know, Mr. Marsh?"
Well, I am a gatherer of information. I know quite a lot. I know about the child. I know that he came here. I know that he was looking into Apaches.
Ah,
What can you give me in return?
I shall tell you everything I know. He was not looking into Apaches. That was something that was a little ruse that he and I came up with together in case someone like you came along. Or, really, we were trying to get a certain someone off his track, but not from Boston. You see, there was a child. He brought that child all the way across the country to Castronegro at the behest of my cousin, Bernard Diaz. He lives in the mansion outside of town on the hill. He was bringing the child to Bernard Diaz. I don't want to speculate for what reason, but he started to have second thoughts about it. And he came to me, and I told him I would help him if I could. We came up with this ruse about why he was here, and unfortunately, before we could do anything, before we could help the baby or him, he disappeared. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where the baby's at.
Do you know anything about men that would wear boots with crosses on the bottom?
Only that if you see boot prints like that, Mr. Marsh, you should walk in the opposite direction that they're going in.
I need to find David. I need to follow them.
Well, I've told you everything I know. I do hope you find young Mr. Lane. He was a good person. His family, who hired you, they didn't tell you the baby was missing, did they?
They did not.
Funny thing that my cousin should be interested in a baby born halfway across the country. Well, I have to go now. Or, at my age, a little afternoon siesta does one well.
I appreciate the time, Father. I believe lunch is waiting for me at the hotel.
You got a 6, right?
I got a 5.
Oh, got 5. Oh, good. So you got that's the best result, right?
Yeah.
Get all the information and none
Yeah.
of the problems.
Yeah.
You can leave, and you'll see that Duncan's not in the chapel anymore. We'll get to Duncan in a moment.
Okay. Could I have the name of the cousin again, real quick?
Bernard Diaz,
Thank you.
the ellipses cousin.
Yeah.
Which you can hear the quotes in his voice.
Yes. Thank you.
Lloyd Francis. I already made you roll the insight roll, right?
Yeah, I am 6s all the way
Yeah.
until insight breaks my brain into parts.
So it's a little out of order, but you will earn it here in a moment. So you're looking around, you're seeing all kinds of things. Oddly, no Native American objects, handicrafts, tools, nothing. It's all stuff from Africa, a lot of stuff from Asia. Excuse me. Quite a lot of books, actually. And the place is it's just covered with this stuff. I mean, there are little statues, there are little, all kinds of weird little censers and braziers, and it's a treasure trove. I mean, if this is your thing, this would be like this would be an incredible find, right? For somebody who's into these sorts of things. As you're kind of looking around, I'll describe a couple of specific things you find. There's an old wax cell recording. Even now, you don't see those very often. We've kind of moved on to the phonograph. And it has the very interesting label of barnyard animals. Weird. You see a little silver chalice around 6 inches tall, hammered into strange, convoluted designs, priced at a staggering $100. An odd statuette of a little rat-like being standing on its hind legs, made of a baked red clay, very extremely detailed and well made. As you look at the little statue, Lloyd, what about the way it's rendered makes it seem almost human in its features?
A shortened snout to be sure, but that somebody has crafted clay in an impossibly thin manner to show whiskers that are less than a millimeter thick in clay. Like that's just not physically possible given the material strength, and yet it gives a humanistic appearance.
It's very dusty in this shop. It's very quiet in the shop. It's one of those kinds of places where you have to keep your elbows in, because you bump into anything. It's very, very quiet, except for a sound coming from just over your shoulder behind you.
Mr. Diaz?
You turn around to see the proprietor standing there. I found something you're going to love.
And it is?
Not exactly what you were asking about, but Have I intuited correctly that you are staying at the Hotel Herrera?
Is there another residence available in the region?
Absolutely not. Well, look at this. And he pulls out what appears to be like one of those, like a little, like kind of a little small, like cookbook. It's the Castronegro Community Cookbook. And he says, the former owner of the Hotel Herrera, a lovely woman, she submitted a recipe to the cookbook. And he turns to the back of it. And the recipe he turns to is not actually like, it was not printed in the book. It was added after the fact, clearly taped in. And he says, go ahead, have a look. And as you look at the recipe, it's directions on how to butcher and cook human meat. What do you think of that, sir?
Well, in
Indeed.
regions,
That's why your insight's going up. How do you feel about it?
oh, for sure, right, in regions of such geographic isolation and times of colonization, one turns to privation. Sort of the needs justify the means or the ends. I don't remember which is which anymore. I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
that's exactly what
it's
it
keep
was
the
like 5 years ago when this was produced.
five, five, not 505.
Yes,
Oh, that's such a very short time.
this is my personal copy, but I would be happy to part with it if you'd like.
I Yes, but I'm on an academic salary. Surely I can. I don't know. There must be a thing that we can offer trade in
I tell
exchange
you
for.
what, it's all yours. Free freight.
That seems generous, excessively so.
A little memento from our humble burg.
Berg is such a strange term for a place such as this. I'd picture mountains of a different scale,
It's an expression, sir.
timbers of a different age or veneration. Not the Latias and the Vigas. No, I'd picture a Berg as different framing.
What a fascinating conversation this is. Now, I'm sorry I don't have anything about old rocks.
That's understandable. I tend to prefer not the human handicrafts so much, but the handicrafts of a larger force beyond such frail things as us. We're short-lived, aren't we?
Some of us,
Delectable
yes.
though we are.
And he goes back around the counter. Your insight has gone up. I'm going to say it's just the combination of all of this that caused
Hmm.
it. I am curious how you're feeling. How do you feel it's slipping away from you, your sanity?
Uh, okay, so sort of an auto character thing here. Not wanting to reveal too much to my party mates. Um, I'm here with a book in my pocket that was purchased by someone close to me who has gone missing, and I'm wondering if I now know why they've gone missing, that were on the menu at the hotel in recent times because they looked so deeply into the human nature, the physical nature, and I was so interested in the geological set of space and time, and I'm wondering if if their brief life has been snuffed out and they were served on a menu, quite frankly. And I'm going to go back to the restaurant and have fajitas. And I'm curious about how long that meat has been cured and dried and salted and if it tastes at all familiar.
Hmm. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you so much for this generous gift of this cookbook. I hope to put it to good use in the future.
Yes. I think you'll find the buttermilk biscuits on page 35 are lovely. Duncan. Actually, let me check in with Millie briefly. Millie, you see there's clearly someone being held against their will or something here in the back. Uh, Green eyes like you're Joaquin. What do you do?
I'll take uh half an ounce of this, and I will look forward to finding you when you find Joaquin, or vice versa in the future. I appreciate you keeping an ear out. And we just see her after she puts too much money on the counter, bolt, and is trying with shaky fingers to stuff tobacco into her pipe as she heads back to the hotel for a cup of coffee.
Duncan Britton. You can go into the. Actually, no. The front door or the door to the tower is locked. What do you do?
It's just afternoon. We have a lunch appointment. You can't get too invested in this right now. And I think looking back toward the hotel, seeing Millie
You'll see the others
walk,
converge on it, right? Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna just kind of put a pin in that and walk back to the hotel.
Harold, you'll be there. Sounded like you were going there as well. We'll fast forward to find you all seated at a little picnic table that's been brought inside, and there's an oilcloth, kind of tablecloth draped over it. You do smell food being cooked in. There's a kitchen towards the back. You can smell it. It smells pretty good, I'd say. You hear the sizzle. Shh. You all
Does it
can have
smell
the
like it?
scene until lunch is served.
Well, I don't know about your interactions, but I find the people in this town to be spectacularly odd. This is not at all like Boston, which is odd in its own right.
Why do I get this sense that everyone here already knows everybody else's secrets and we are the odd ones out? Chain smoking from her pipe, the billowing smoke from her obscuring how terrified she must look.
Well,
There
a
are.
small, isolated place like this, everyone's bound to be up in each other's business. We are
But
the odd ones out.
it seems like the secrets that they hold are perhaps things we don't want to know about, but my curiosity and my obligations require me to do so and follow through.
What kind of obligations are those, Mr. Marsh?
Well, you know that I am a private investigator. Uh, I work for a family of means currently, and I am tasked with finding their son.
Missing child or a missing adult?
Missing adult.
Millie kind of absentmindedly taps out her pipe and begins to fill it again. You said an affluent family. Anyone I would know?
Are you familiar with the Marshes?
In Boston?
Yes.
That seems odd. Their son is missing?
Yes. David
Oh,
has run off. He came here.
Any relation, Mr. Marsh?
Oh wait, shit, not the marsh is not bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if you were doing a ruse or not. Lane is what Harold
Lane,
means.
Lane.
David Blaine is missing.
David Blaine is missing. Little David Lane of
Lane.
Boston.
Perhaps I can be of some assistance in that matter.
Hmm. I have a feeling you might be able to. I suspect that he may not be, well, here any longer.
Not here or not here?
No longer on this plane.
Fascinating. And tragic.
Well, I have no obligations to stay here beyond those of my own heart, and frankly, after this afternoon, I'm not going to stay here more than the night. I plan to be on that bus first thing in the morning. Get out of this town.
I'm sure that you could find someone else with green eyes who's just as charming and delightful.
How did you know he had green eyes?
A simple deduction. Everyone here in this town seems to have green eyes, well, with the exception of the proprietor of the hotel, whose are blue, which makes him odd.
Howdy, folks. And joining you is a man in a khaki sheriff's department uniform. He's got the sheriff's star. Tall guy, brown hair, kind of hale looking, in his mid 40s. Since the question was asked in chat, he has brown eyes. He's like, how's it going, folks? I'm Sheriff Fred Garcia. I heard Juan was cooking up fajitas. Thought I'd try to see if he could rustle up a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth plate. You don't mind if I join you?
Of course not, officer.
Uh,
Or sheriff.
Before you can get too deep into conversation with him, Mr. Herrera does come round. He's wearing what looks like it must have been his mother's apron. It's a very frilly little kind of pink situation. And it also looks like weirdly small on him because he's so tall. And he's got a smoking, sizzling platter of flank steak. It smells wonderful. He's got fresh tortillas, and he's kind of setting everything out. He's even managed to rustle up a few beers. And he says, there we are. Piping hot, sizzling fajitas. I am so happy I got to do this for you this afternoon. Dig in. Oh, Sheriff, good to see you. And he's setting out the plates, giving you some utensils, and what do you all do?
Gonna dig
Millie
in.
doesn't get any coffee and so opens a beer.
not knowing anything about the recipe, I will dig in.
I think it's best if I arrive about 3 bites into the meal, like leafing through the cookbook and sort of like walking forward, like, ah, ugh, this is the only restaurant in town, and I'm so hungry.
Also, his mom wrote the recipe.
Nothing like
Recipe.
family cooking. Take a little tender bite, chew extremely slowly, questioning
It's delicious.
everything.
It's delicious. He's managed to get the otherwise very tough cut of meat to be quite tender.
This reminds me of my dear friend William Godfrey, who spoke so often about the tenderness of the human condition and how the salt of our tears flavored existence and gave meaning to our brief lives.
Duncan will kind of pat his mouth with a napkin and say, "What a strange conversation to have over lunch." Sheriff, since we are eating beef, I
Yeah.
thought perhaps I'd ask, is that a an industry here? Is there many beef farmers here?
Oh yeah, yeah. We got lots of ranches around. Well, there's a couple outside of town, but mostly it's in other parts of the county.
And have you two also been affected by the recent happenings?
The happenings.
Oh, in this area, cattle mutilations.
Make the roll.
One or two.
Um, Two because you're kind of coming loaded with information here.
A five.
He's he's like, yeah, yeah. So where'd you hear about that? I'm guessing Silver City.
Thereabouts, yes.
Well, they got a lot worse than we did. Uh, he's kind of he says, you know, people have all kinds of theories about what it means, who's hurting cows. You know, is it aliens? Is it, people worshiping the devil? Everybody's got a story.
Creatures with claws, and he'll kind of glance at Harold.
And he's at this point, the sheriff kind of looks around at you all and he's like, is that where you're all here for? Is to look into cattle mutilations?
No.
Absolutely not, Sheriff. I was just chasing a boy. I am in the wrong place and obviously at the wrong table, and takes a big swig of her beer.
I don't want you to get the wrong idea about me. I'm not here looking for any cows or any boys. Well, I'm looking for a boy, but not for those reasons.
Mr. Herrera is kind of like, you know, floating around, fussing over the situation. And he says, oh, the cattle mutilations. It has made it impossible to find beef around here.
Then where did we get our lunch?
What a good question. Did I understand correctly, Miss Rogers, that you wanted coffee with your lunch? Let me go grab that really quickly. And he leaves. Fred says, he probably had to pay a rancher under the table to get this beef. He takes a big old bite. He's kind of chewing. But it sure is good. Nah. Cattle mutilations. It's overblown. It hasn't really even been too much trouble like that out here. Like I said, Silver City got it a lot worse. We only had, well, a few weeks ago we had one cow at one of our ranches. It was tore up pretty bad. Uh, couldn't say who or what did it, but I saw the bite marks.
Bite marks. Poor creature.
Well, yeah, it's a funny thing. There were a lot of them, but they were pretty small. Smaller than any coyote or wolf I've ever seen.
Not vampire bats. They prey on cattle at times, I hear.
Yeah, but these poor heifers didn't have the blood sucked. They were ripped open. Great big old chunks. He says, I don't want to spook you out, but the bite marks on that poor cow looked kind of human.
Well, I suppose if you get hungry enough.
Any claw marks found nearby? Perhaps footprints around the cattle.
He says, I think maybe we've talked enough about cattle mutilation while reading our lunch. But he leans in and says, to you, Duncan, but just between you and me, I think the situation's in hand. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I've no doubt in your capabilities, Sheriff.
I have a colleague back at the university who's a bit of an expert in zoology and on occasion cryptozoology. Would it be worth consulting with him?
I couldn't say. But like I said, I think the situation's under control.
Before we finish and go our separate ways, Sheriff, I was wondering, is there a William in town?
Well, I think there used to be a Bill. I think there used to be a Bill Garcia, probably a cousin of mine, but he would have moved years ago. Um, the Diazes, their given names tend to be there's just a few. Same thing with the Villela Pereiras. They're real traditional, those two families, you know. No Williams that I can recall. Why do you ask?
Oh, just a hunch, I suppose you could say.
Right, well, I don't know what brought you folks here, but I hope you have a fine stay in our lovely little town. And maybe don't go outside. Maybe don't go too far outside the town limits at night. Okay? Lots of bad stuff in the desert.
Sound advice, Sheriff. I'm so sure. Thank you.
How was everyone's lunch?
Delicious. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Stunning cooking, and I pull a piece of gristle out of my teeth and kind of try to politely wrap it up in a napkin. Phenomenal, phenomenal, just absolutely delicious. You do your family proud.
Well, you'll all be happy to know that I have replaced the vases on each of your nightstands with ones that have little flowers in them. I managed to find you some fresh flowers all the way out here, if you can imagine that. So that should make your stay even more pleasant. And like I said, if you or did I say? Oh goodness. Did one of you end up in one of the rooms with a window by chance?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. You'll want to keep your curtain pulled closed at night. The moon comes through particularly bright in that window.
All right. What if I don't mind moonlight?
Oh, what if you don't mind moonlight? It's funny. Are you a vampire?
Mr. Herrera, will I ever get a cup of coffee? I am often very patient, but at this point in the afternoon, I have asked thrice. And you were talking about a lack of beef while you're serving beef, and I'm just. Please, may I have a cup of coffee? Sir.
I shall bring it up to your room directly, Miss Rogers.
Thank you. And she is going to huff upstairs and go to her room.
I hope no one faults me for speaking out of turn, but it seems like caffeine's the last thing that lady needs.
I think that perhaps she should go to the changeling.
And what's that?
Is that not the speakeasy?
Oh, of course, of course.
What are you all going to do? Or where do we see you go? We know Millie's gone up to the room. That's fine. Is everyone else going to go rest in their room, or what's your next plan of action?
Uh, Harold wanted actually to investigate the marks outside of the window, see if those boot prints and footprints were still available, and would actually invite Duncan to come along. And Lloyd, strangely. Yes.
We'll pick up with that next time.
Okay.
Um, Duncan and Lloyd, do you have any better ideas than that?
Duncan was planning on just having a small word with Juan.
Okay.
We'd like
And
to see if there's interest in arranging a séance.
oh, good. And Lloyd?
Uh, I've got an idea that I think ties into what is yet not yet known about my character that could be fun in the sense of an apricot as a metaphor, sort of a fleshy exterior, a hard, dried interior. Is there a fruit orchard, a fruit market, anywhere to find any degree of fresh fruit? Um, Sort of a pit within the fleshy core.
We will see about that next time tomorrow. For now, Millie, you're in your room, your
I think
windowless
she's
room.
taken a shoe and she's like knocked out one of the boards in the window so she can blow smoke out.
Yeah, good. Waiting for your coffee. You do eventually hear some clump, clump, clump coming up the stairs. And then you hear again some quite heavy footsteps, clump, 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 walking down the hall, and then stopping in front of your door. You can even see the shadow of the person standing there underneath the crack of the door. And then from the keyhole, you hear, what do you do?
I think that she is still in such a state that she will, much like at the tobacconist, in an exasperated sigh, open her door, fling it open, expecting to see Mr. Herrera there with a cup of coffee.
And you do. Your coffee, Miss Rogers. We'll end our session there. Let's go to stars and wishes for this session. Stars are things you enjoyed, wishes are things you hope to see tomorrow or the day after for our Halloween weekend Cthulhu Jamboree.
I'll dive in with the anti-cliffhanger of it's just your coffee. What were you thinking? Um, a few others. Early on, PK said "doll" on the bus, and that reminded me of what era we're in. The linguistics of that. Um, Sarah said the man I'm looking for is still on this side of the veil again, sort of that reminder of where we're at. And this is Ben said, spirit is such a limiting term. Um, what else? Sorry, I'm looking at my own handwriting here. Oh, Jason, you just talked about the conversation I have not been overhearing from our bus driver. It was really great. Back to PK for brackish holy water. Oh my Lord. That's that's disgusting in all the right ways. Um, that's probably enough for me. Lots of good stuff.
I just wanted to give a star for all the players, and of course Jason for leaning in hard to their characters and their personas, and kind of establishing if not clear motivations, their way of approaching things. We have Duncan being sneaky and trying to eavesdrop on Harold's comments. We have Millie, who's very much clearly a loner and self-sufficient in driving, and Lloyd that's got some secrets, and is not willing to divulge anything at all. So I appreciate that interaction with all of you. Star to Jason for mouth noises. They're gross. I love them.
I'll go with the mouth noises again. Always get a star from me. And yeah, the characters going about our own kind of secret goals, and uh, Duncan is secretive in many ways, but I enjoy when he gets to just drop something like, "Oh, hey, cattle mutilations" in front of everybody, and just tip the hand a little bit. Millie Rogers is I'm big fan. Really looking forward to seeing what happens with her and how the coffee is. We know we don't have beef, but coffee, is that safe? Uh, Lloyd, I'm really eager to see what Lloyd has to say about the weird oily stone in the that makes up the bell tower. I and Harold and Duncan could have some interesting information to exchange as we go, and that'll be fun to cooperate maybe or not. And just it's fun to see this. I don't remember all that much about my last time around Castanegro, but I'm definitely intrigued by. Well, I get to be intrigued again because I don't remember, so it's fun. Thank you for having me again.
I think that's definitely my first star about playing like this version of Cthulhu Dark, because having individual secrets is a little bit different here than say like from a car from Brindlewood, where we have our own personal shit. But watching this, if like our characters are actively trying to communicate, hey, I've got secrets, but I don't necessarily know who I'm going to tell what to, as opposed to in the Brindlewood verse, it does seem to be a driven part of the gameplay is that you are confessing secrets and backstory to people. And so playing just the cards you want to is a fun strategic way of keeping this very in the genre, right? Um, I loved the bus scene, just with us not coming together, already knowing each other as strangers on a bus is really fun. I have wishes for next time, but it's all the green-eyed boys. I'm just really excited to see how all of this comes together because I have not seen this module before. I deliberately did no spoilers because I want to be grossed out. It's Halloween. I need the spooky stuff. So I'm very excited for the horrors to come.
Yeah, great time. I like I said, this module to me is like a comfortable pair of jeans. Like it's very, I love running it. I love playing these characters. I always love revisiting this setting. And you all were great. I enjoyed. Yeah, I agree about like you all kind of have your own way of like handling things, and I also like how you're all kind of like you're playing your cards close to your chest, except you're trying to let little things out here and there, right? And I think it kind of it creates like a nice tension at the table. Um, yeah, so yeah, just good time all around. I'm excited to dive back in tomorrow. I'm really interested to see if you all follow up on a few of the little dangling things that are out there right now. And yeah, I'm also curious about the coffee. I hope it's great. And
I'd take it black, no cream. Okay,
okay,
let's not.
okay. I think that's all I've got for now. Is there anything else? Okay, then I'm going to pause this